back with episode part 2 on how good is Squirtle. Now we're going into the Elite Four this time around. Squirtle so far in the team leaders is fine in certain games, but not amazing in others. So let's see. What the heck? No, get off my screen. I don't care. Yeah, I may like Star Wars, but I want the. Oh, okay. Very funny game. Okay. So with the Elite Four and Kanto, oh my gosh, ads. Get off my screen. Thank you. Lorelei, you will go neutral with. Just be careful for bulky ice types and their Dugong and their Lapras. Bruno, you can beat with water type moves. You'll just go neutral. His Onyx will go down pretty quickly. Agatha, if you're playing Let's Go and even your Fire Leaf Green, if you have Bite, you'll be able to be fine. In all versions, if you have Ice Beam, Lance stands no chance. Now in Fire Red, Leaf Green, Blue, just in a way, kind of like what I said with his gym leader appearance. It's the same thing, but be careful with his Venusaur instead of the Executor, since this time he actually has Venusaur. Just be careful. Just be careful of it. Alakazam you go neutral with. Gyarados you can go neutral with, and every other team member you can just sweep with like one move. And Trace, I don't remember his team that well. Just be careful with it, regardless. And I also have Lapras and Marowak, so that's good for Blastoise, but everything else could be pretty bad. So be careful, especially if you're playing Let's Go Eevee. Moving on to Generation 2. Well, if you get Bite on Blastoise, you're gonna sweep through it like it's nothing. Koga, if you have Earthquake or Dig, go for it, but be careful with Crobat since it's part flying. Bruno, in a way, just you'll go neutral with. Karen, be careful of the Vileplume and Umbreon. Those guys are pretty tricky. The rest you can easily take out, especially the Houndoom since you're part water. Now Lance. Other than the Dragonites that know electric type moves that can really damage Blastoise, you're perfectly fine. Just go through it. You can beat them with just an ice type move. Now the Hoenn Elite Four. Sydney, you can go even with. Just be careful with Cacturne and Shiftry. Phoebe, if you have a dark type move, you're going to be able to beat her. Just be careful. Glacia, you can go neutral with. Just be careful with Freeze Dry and the water type versions. And Drake, you can easily beat with ice type moves. Just be careful with Kingdra because it won't go down to one ice beam. Moving on, we've got Steven and Wallace. Steven, to be honest, you really don't have to be careful with anything because Skarmory, you go even with. Aggron, you have to worry about Sturdy with that one, along with Skarmory. But with Aggron, you have to be careful with, but you can still beat it. Claydol, Surf, Cradily, Ice Beam, and Metagross, be careful depending on which game you're playing. If you're playing Ruby and Sapphire, then you're fine. But if you're playing Oris, be careful with the Mega Metagross, since that thing hits hard. And if you somehow get the Blastoise in your night, which I doubt because that's a late game thing, you won't even have Mega Blastoise, so be careful. With Champion Wallace, you go neutral with the Gyarados and the... Actually, no, Whiscash only is the only one you don't have to worry about with your typing of Gyarados. Well, with the rest, you have to be careful, especially with the Ludicolo. Now, with Sinnoh. Aaron, you'll go neutral with. Burfo, you'll destroy like it's no one's business because you're a water type. Flint, same thing, water type. And Lucian, be careful. Just want to say that. Rumor says that he's a very hard trainer in the Elite Four. Next is Cynthia. Blastoise is actually pretty good against Cynthia, depending on which game you're playing and which movesets you're running. If you have Ice Beam, a fighting type move, a water type move, and another move that can deal with some other Pokemon, you can easily defeat Cynthia. Just be careful, because Roserade is pretty powerful. Her Garchomp is a menace. We all know this. Even I have never played Gen 4, has faced her outside of Generation 4, and she is still tough. Now moving on to Univos. You know the ones which we will actually talk about, and two. Thanks, Alpharad. Chantel, you've got to be careful with Energy Ball. on some of her team, but Blastoise can actually surf through most of it since she has a fire type and a ground type with the ghost typing. So I'm giving the thumbs up. Go surf them. Marshall, you can go neutral with. Grimsley, you can basically just take out Crocodile with that and go even with the rest of his Pokemon. And Caitlyn, just watch out for straight electric moves, but you can easily take out her Sigilyph if you have an Ice type move. Now we move on. Now we move on to the champions. We're not going to count Outer at all since you had to beat him after the game, and we're talking about main game first. So sorry if everyone's wanting to talk about Outer. That's never going to happen. Now, saying that, skipping on the timing of the recording, and depending on which version you have, will be difficult. If you have white version, it'll be easy to go through it. Actually, way much more easier than it was with Charizard, since this time you're running with a water type. But if you're playing black version, Zekrom will be a pain in the butt to deal with. With Getsis, you can easily take him out with water type moves. Just be careful with with Electros. That's all you have to worry about. Now moving on to Iris. The only Pokemon you have to worry about is Lapras, in a way. Because, like I said, Blastoise will surf and Ice Beam his way through her team. She has a Druddigon, a Haxorus, an Aggron that doesn't know Sturdy, so surfs up, dude. And basically, yeah, the rest of her team's Archeops, Hydreigon, and of course, Lapras, but you can easily go through it like it's nothing. Moving on to Kalos. Kalos, Malva you easily destroy because, you're a water type. It's like the 80th time I've said that. Speedbolt you go neutral with. Wickstrom, if you have a fighting type move, you can definitely beat him. But yeah, if you're going neutral, if you don't, you're just going neutral with him. And Drasna, like I said, ice type move, destroys dragons. Now, Dianfa. Be careful of that Gore, guys. That thing's a pain in the butt. And make sure and be careful of Mega Gardevoir's Thunderbolt. Yeah, I forgot Mega Gardevoir exists and Thunderbolt's a move, so yeah, I learned that the hard way. But the rest of her team, you can easily take out, like the Gudra, Ice Beam, Tyrantrum, Ice Beam, Aurora's Ice Beam, and Ice Beam Surf, and of course Halucha Ice Beam. Now moving on to Alola. For Sun and Moon, I'm just going to cover for Sun and Moon. I'll cover the rest when we get to Ultra. Hollow, you'll go even with, but with the rest, Melon, if you have a steel fighting type move, you can take him out easily, but you'll go neutral with. Just be careful with the typings he has. Olivia, you can surf your way through it. Just be careful with Credilli. Acerola, you can beat depending on what type of moves that you have, but yet still be careful just in case. You never know if they have a grass type move or electric type move hidden underneath them. And Kahili, flying. Ice move. Just watch out for Skarmory. That thing always has sturdy. Now the champions, Kukui, depending on what starter you pick, will be difficult, but he has a Magnezone and a Alolan Ninetales and Lycanroc, but depending on which starter you have, it might be easy for you to go through it. That Lycanroc's going to go down. If you pick Rowlet, you're easily going to take out Incineroar. If you pick Popplio, you might be able to have a little bit of a challenge between, it might be a challenge to go up against Sidgeway, but technically Blastoise is faster than the Sidgeway. That's depressing. But that's it for that. Now with Galar. With Nessa, you'll go even with. Just be careful with some of her Pokemon. Then Babe, you can easily go neutral with if you have a Psychic type move, so you can take her out easily. Or if you want to just not have that, you go neutral with. Alistair, if you have a Dark type move, you go neutral with, and bam, done. And Raihan, you can easily take out with a simple Ice type move on your team. Now we move on to Leon. If you have a Dark type move, Aegis Slash and Mr. Rhyme are no longer problems. That Dragapult and Haxorus can be easily taken out by Ice Beam, and depending on which starter you chose, each starter would be kind of easy or hard. Rillaboom, if you get lucky and crit with an Ice type move, you're going to destroy it. Cinderace, you're instantly going to destroy it because, Blastoise, water type, duh. And then it comes to Inteleon, just be careful, that thing's pretty powerful, even though it's not that powerful. And I'm surprised I didn't have music playing in the background for this one. Sorry guys, you just get to hear my voice in the fan. Then comes this Charizard. If we've never seen what happens when you hit water, if you hit fire with water, and if we haven't seen from, let's see, 1, 2, alright, there's only 2 Elite Force out of fire, but you get what I'm saying. Water types are easily taken out. So I shall see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow, and you get episodes of Breath of the Wild. You might get 2, you might get 1. Just be happy you get something. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye, everyone.